Wake of Us. A short story from the science fiction short story collection Astride Twin Seas by E.S. Wynn. These are the moments I remember. Little bits, like strips of film running off the track, fading with each tired replay. I can still feel the grit and grain of the volcanic gravel cracking against my palms as you took my hands in yours. I can still see the little twig of an apple tree that we cradled together, settled into that alien earth, with fertile hopes, and a knot of rich compost smuggled in from Terra. That little twig, if only you could see it now, twisted and gnarled as it is over the faded front door we carved from native wood together. That little twig, its branches heavy with wizened apples. Your shoes still sit by the door, silent and empty, as if waiting. The sloping black slippas, and the soft red clinic shoes with a hole in the right toe. Shoes, colonial issue, fraying at the seams, smooth on the soles. A few of your dresses and sarongs still hang in the closet. Favorite ones I couldn't bear to give away, could never throw out. I remember how well you wore them, the way the prints and shades would roll across the curve of your hips, fall to your elegant ankles, tassels and hems dancing as you walked, your tanned toes kicking up the black, volcanic sand. I remember wading out into the warm waters of the coast near the colony where we met and married. I remember rising with the waves as they rolled in until we were far enough out to become one with them. I remember the way you once wrapped your arms around me as I hauled you out of the grasp of that jealous alien sea. The way you once wrapped your arms around me as you dragged me back to a different shore when I was too exhausted to do more than float, do more than hope the waters would carry me home. I remember almost believing I could see Earth in the sky that day, pale and present above the darkening waves as they closed in around me. Home. No. You. Home. You. As close in the night as the tiny dot of Earth was far, far from our alien skies. I remember the smile on your face moments before the caldera in the desolated zone a dozen kilometers from the farmland of the colony broke open in a spray of smoke and fire. I remember the way the ground shook, the way you shook as I grabbed you, ran with you wrapped around me, wide-eyed and shouting, though what you said I can't remember. Only the run, the heat, the blurring burn, that is what I remember. I remember going back to that place days later, back to that place where the cracked cliffs of blackened basalt crumbled into a lake of roiling fire. I remember watching the fountaining flames with you, remember reaching out to grab the tail of your sweatshirt when you wandered too close to the edge. 5 vents in all, and all throwing up cascades of flashing magma, all glowing brilliantly in the night, and you and I on a bridge between them all. 2 tiny shadows, no more significant there than the rocks around us, than the shining bits of cinder falling from the sky. I remember the letters, the wandering letters of love, the stinging letters of rage and frustration, both always so rich with eloquent imagery, always so sharp, so cutting, drawing tears with all the keenness with which knives draw blood. I remember the poems, shorter knives, no less keen or pointed. I remember the moments when you would roll over to face me in the night and I could see your entire mind in your eyes, hear every hope and joy and fear you felt in the rhythm of your breath. I could read you so well, love. I could hear the song of your soul, like I was made to dance in the lyrics of your life, like I was the only one who knew the words. And I remember the last night we spent together. Remember how every second felt sacred, grasped in desperate hands, shaking with fear as much as fatigue. No matter how hard we tried to hold them, we couldn't keep those seconds from slipping away, and when the dawn broke over the desolation of the coming day, I woke alone, broken myself, staring at all the seconds ahead, all the seconds still to come, all the seconds I would walk through without you to walk beside me. In my entire life, I don't think I've ever cried as much as I did that morning when I stepped into the hazy light of the rest of my life. In my entire existence, no single moment stands out as clear in the mind or as keen in the heart as that moment when I stood at the threshold of the home and the life and the love we had shared for so long, and stopped with my hand on the frame of the door as if by rage and muscle alone I could will the world back to blissful days, drag the whole of time and space back, and find myself in your arms again, even if only for an instant, even if only once and never again. Blind, I squeezed and squeezed, pulled and sneered against tears, but nothing would yield. Nothing gave way to my will, not even the frame of the door to our home. The days without you have been bitter and cold, but I still find reason to smile sometimes at the memories, at the knowledge that wherever you are, you're finding reason to smile too. I smile through the tears, through the blinding pain that ripples in my arms and the muscles of my shoulders, blossoms in my heart like a fire that cannot be quenched. Every inch of me has been scarred by you, by the memories of you, by the loss of you, and still I smile when I think of you. There are bits of us still that will outlast both of us. The trees we planted, the orchards that even now feed the families of the settlers that have come to call this rocky world home, the notes and poems that linger in the colonial archives, the whittled bits of wood and windows of cut glass we worked on together to make this place beautiful. So many lives touched by our love, and all of them brightened by it, I like to think. So many memories, so many moments, even now so weighty, so heavy in the heart, like barbs of bladed diamond, too precious to leave behind, too sharp to touch too often. These are the moments I remember. These are the moments I remember when I remember